Hello friends, welcome to the today's online session. In today's online session, we'll be discussing some of the important multiple choice questions based on the first topic from our paper, that is mechanics. All of us know that the university examinations this year will be conducted in online mode. So we'll be covering our whole course with set of multiple choice questions which will be probably asked in the university exams of Savitribai Phule Pune University. So let us start with the today's first topic, that is mechanics. The options which are the questions which are given in this one, I have covered almost 30 questions in this session. So let us start with the first question. The first question is swimming is possible in on account of, the options are given. These are for Newton's first law of motion, second law of motion, third option is third law of motion, and the last option is Newton's law of gravitation. So in this one, uh, all of us know that swimming is an action due to the reaction which will be exerted by a person on the water. Okay, and the law which is associated with the action and reaction, it is nothing but the Newton's third law of motion. So obviously the answer for this question is Newton's third law of motion. The next question in this session is the average force to stop a hammer with 25 Newton second in zero point 0.4 second is. So in this one the options are 62.5, 50 Newton, 125 Newton, and 25 Newton. So this is a numerical kind of a question is there. So first of all, what we will do, we will try to find out what is given in this problem. So average force we need to calculate. So to stop a hammer with 25 Newton second momentum. So it is momentum which is given 25 Newton second, and time interval which it is given, that is 0.4 second. So and we have to calculate the force. So from the Newton's second law of motion, we know that force is nothing but the rate of change of momentum. So F, you can write it as a derivative of momentum with respect to time, that is F is equal to dp by dt. So if I substitute the value of change in momentum, which is 25 Newton second, and time which is 0.4 seconds, so we will get the answer of 62.5. So the correct option from the given option, it is option A, 62.5 Newton. Okay. Next question is force of 5 Newton acts on a body of weight 9.8 Newton. What is the acceleration produced? So in this one, the options are given. These are the four options which are given. So in this numerical, what we will do, we will try to calculate the acceleration produced. For that one, first of all, we'll try to write down the given data. The given data, it is force which is given, that is 5 Newton. Weight of the body, it is given 9.8 Newton, and acceleration produced we have to calculate. Okay. So by the Newton's second law of motion, we know that force exerted on a body, it is nothing but the mass into acceleration. Let us call this as an equation number 1. We know that for every body there is a weight due to the acceleration due to gravity. So weight is a result of the force. So we can write down the weight is nothing but the W is equal to mg. In this case, acceleration will be acceleration due to gravity. Now what I'll do, I'll divide the equation 1 by equation 2. Okay, and equation 1, F divided by W, that is equation 2. So F is nothing but the MA, and W is nothing but the mg. So this MM will get cancelled. We will substitute the value of force and weight, which is 9.8, and by substituting the value of acceleration due to gravity, which is 9.8 meter per second square, we can calculate the acceleration, which is coming out to be 9.8 meter per second square. So in this case, the option C is the correct option. So your answer is option C, 5 meters per second square. Now the next question is, which of the following quantities measured from different inertial frames are same? Obviously it is nothing but the force. So the correct option in this case, it is the force, option A. Now next numerical, it is man is standing on a spring balance. Reading of the spring is 60 kilogram force. If man jumps outside the balance, then reading of the spring balance. So first option is first increases then decreases to 0. Second option is decreases. Third option is remains same, and C option increases. Now here in this case we have to take a one note that whenever a person is uh, standing on the spring balance, it is giving a reading of his own weight. Now suddenly if he wants to jump from this spring balance, what he has to do, he has to give certain additional acceleration on this one. Due to that one, the reading on the spring balance first will increase, and then when it will come down the spring balance, this reading will go to the 0. So if you consider in this case, the correct option in this case, it is first the reading on the spring balance first increases then decreases to 0. Now next of MCQ, it is same force acts on two bodies of different masses, 2 kilogram and 5 kilogram, initially at rest. Means two bodies are there, so their masses are it is given, and the same forces are acting on those bodies. Okay, now the ratio of the time required to acquire the same final velocity we need to calculate. Okay, so for the option for this, it is given in this fashion. First of all, what we will do, we'll try to calculate the what is given in this problem. So mass of the first object, let us say it is m1, which is 2 kg. Mass of the second object, which is 5 kg. We need to calculate the time required to acquire the same velocity. Means time we need to calculate. For the first object, let us say the time is t1. For the second object, let us say time is t2. We need to calculate the ratio of that one, that is t1 as to t2 we need to calculate. And initially both the bodies are at the rest, so initial velocity u1 and u2 will be 0. Okay, and we have to calculate this time required, time ratio, when the final velocities will be same, means v1 is equal to v2. Now we know the first kinematical equation, v is equal to u plus at. For the first object, I will write down v1 is equal to u1 plus a1 t1. For second object, I will write down v2 is equal to u2 plus a2 t2. Okay, and in this one, it is given that initial velocity is equal to 0. So u1 is equal to u2 is equal to 0. So if I substitute in this one, you will get a1 t1 is equal to a2 t2. From this one, we'll try to calculate the t1 upon t2. So if I transfer this t2 from this side, it will get divided to this t1. So t1 upon t2 is equal to a2, and this a1 if I transfer on this side, it will get divided. So it is a2 upon a1. So from Newton's second law of motion, we know that force is equal to mass into acceleration. In this case, the same force is acting on the body, so F1 is equal to F2. So for the first body, I can write F1 is equal to m1 a1. For second force, I can write m2 a2. If I rearrange this equation for m1 upon m2, I can find out the value of a2 by a1, which is coming out to be in terms of m1 upon m2. If I substitute this value of a2 upon a1 in this equation, I'll get t1 upon t2, which is nothing but the a2 upon a1 is equal to, and this a2 upon a1 is nothing but the m1 upon m2, and mass of the first object is 2 kilogram, and the mass of the second object, it is 5 kilograms. So it is coming out to be 2 by 5, which is nothing but the 2:5. If you look at the options, in this case the option D, which is showing 2:5. So the correct answer for this MCQ, it is option D, 2:5. Now next question, it is there. Motion of a particle of mass m is described by a equation S is equal to ut plus 1/2 at square. The force F acting on a particle is, we need to calculate. The options are given in this fashion. So we know that S is nothing but the displacement of an object, and we need to calculate the force acting on this object. We know that force is nothing but the mass into acceleration. So from this displacement, we have to calculate the acceleration. So we know that by the definition of the acceleration, it is nothing but the rate of change of velocity. Acceleration is nothing but the time rate of change of velocity. So from this one we can write down v, acceleration is equal to dv by dt. But what is v? We need to calculate the v. Velocity is defined as the rate of change of displacement. So here in this case, yes, value of yes, it is given ut plus 1/2 at square. So if I substitute it in this equation, I can get this v is equal to u plus at, because derivative of t with respect to t it is 1, and derivative of t square with respect to t is 2t. This 2 and this 2t, they will cancel, so you will get an equation v is equal to u plus at. But acceleration is nothing but the dv by dt. We will substitute this value of v in this equation, so which is u plus at, and if I differentiate this, I'll get the acceleration which is du by dt. A is acceleration which is a constant, and dt by dt which is a derivative of t with respect to t, which is 1. As it is a constant motion under a constant gravity, this initial velocity is constant, so rate of change of velocity with respect to time, it will be 0. So you will be getting acceleration is equal to a, and we know that force is nothing but the mass into acceleration. So force is nothing but the mass into acceleration. Acceleration which we have calculated, it is coming out to be a. So if you write down the force, it is coming out to be ma. So in this case, if you carefully see the options, the option 1 is correct, which is F is equal to ma. Sometimes it happens that in the questions this equation will not be given. Equation of this form it will be given. S is equal to ut plus 1/2 gt square. Instead of acceleration, you will be given acceleration due to gravity. In this case, the question, if you solve in the similar fashion, in that case your acceleration will come out to be acceleration due to gravity. In that case, force will be mg. So in that case, your correct answer will be F is equal to mg. So in our earlier problem, the question answer was F is equal to ma. In this case, the answer is F is equal to mg. Okay, now we'll move to the next problem. A batsman hits ball straight in the direction of bowler without changing its initial velocity of 12 meters per second. If the mass of the ball is 0.15 kilogram, determine impulse imparted to the ball. Okay, now see, these are the options which are given, and now here in this case we have to calculate the impulse. Impulse is nothing but the force into time. Impulse is nothing but the force into time. Okay, so first of all, we will try to write down the given data. Initial velocity, it is given for 12 meters per second. Here in this case, I had taken initial velocity minus, because it is batsman. Suppose the ball is moving in this direction and batsman hitting in this direction. Okay, so one velocity you have to take it as a negative. In this case, I am taking a initial velocity negative. The mass of the object, it is given, and we have to calculate the impulse. Impulse is nothing but the force into time. Force from the Newton's second law, it is mass into acceleration. Means in order to calculate the impulse, you need to calculate the quantity product mass into acceleration into time. The mass it is given, but acceleration it is not given. So you need to calculate the acceleration into time. From the first kinematical equation, we know that v is equal to u plus at. Okay, if I rearrange this equation, if I transfer this u from this side, it will get minus on this side. So at is nothing but the v minus u. I know the value of v, I know the value of u. If I substitute this value of at in this above equation, impulse formula will become m into, instead of at I can write this v minus u. Now we'll just substitute the value. Mass of the object, it is given 0.15. Velocity of the object, it is given 12, minus initial velocity, it was given minus 12. This minus minus becomes plus. This 12 plus 12, it will be 24. 24 into 15, it will come out to be 3.6 Newton second. So the correct option for this question, it is 3.6 Newton second. Option A is correct answer. Now next MCQ, it is fundamental force includes gravitational force, electrostatic force, nuclear force, all of the above. In our earlier theory lectures, we had discussed these lectures are available on the YouTube as well. You can see from the playlist mechanics, the fundamental force include all these force. So correct option for this MCQ, it is all of the above, option D. Okay, now next, an object of mass 10,000 gram is moving with velocity 20 meters per second. What is its kinetic energy? The options are given below. Uh, in this case, the mass of the object, it is given, which is 100 gram. Object is moving with a velocity 20 centimeters per second, and we need to calculate the kinetic energy. We know that kinetic energy is nothing but the 1/2 mv square. It is having a formula 1/2 mv square. If you just simply substitute these values, okay, and if you do the substitute calculation, you will get the answer of 20,000 arc. This we can write down in terms of 10 to the power, because 1 2 3 4 zeros are coming, so it is 2 into 10 to the power 4. So in this case, the correct answer, it is 2 into 10 raised to minus 4 is the correct answer. Option C is the correct answer. Now, what next question is, what is the unit of energy in SI system? First one is joule, erg, watt, newton. All of us know that energy is measured in terms of joule. So it's a very trivial question. The option A is correct, joule. Next question, due to the application of 10 Newton force, an object moves 10 meter along perpendicular direction of the force. What is the amount of work is done? The options are given: 100 erg, 50 joules, 100 joules and 0 joules. In this case, the force, it is given 10 Newton. Object is moving along 10 meter distance, but the direction in which the object is moving, it is perpendicular, so theta is equal to 90. So we know that for work done is nothing but the dot product of a force into displacement, so which is Fs into cos theta. In this case, angle, it is given 90 degrees, so cos 90 is 0, so work done in this case will be getting, it is 0. This we have, this concept also we have discussed in our earlier theory lectures, which are available on the YouTube. Work done by a force acting at a particular angle. Okay, in that case, we have considered the one case, if the force is perpendicular, in that case the work done, it is coming out to be 0. So the answer for this question, it is 0 joule. Next question is, formula for gravitational potential energy of mass m with gravitational pull g raised to height h. It is it's a very trivial question. Potential energy is nothing but the gravitational potential, which is mg, into the height, which is mgh. So in this case, option C is correct. Next question is, which of the following pairs of physical quantities has the same dimension? The first one is work and energy. Second is force and work. Third one is work and power. Last one is power and force. So it is also a trivial question. You might have come across this one. Work and energy, it is measured in terms of same units. So they have the same physical dimensions. So option A is correct for this question. Okay, option A. Next question, according to work energy principle, a particle of mass m, when subjected to external force, the work done during the displacement by all forces is equal to change in dash dash during the displacement. So it's a problem MCQ based on the work energy theorem. All of us know that the work energy theorem tells us that the force is called conservative force, for which work done is independent of the distance, path, time, and none of this. Okay, in this one we have seen the non-conservative force, it is independent of the path. So option B is correct. Next question, 18th. According to principle of conservation of energy, under which type of force the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy of the particle remains constant? So obviously the answer for this question is it is under the application of the conservative force. The to sum of potential energy and the kinetic energy remains the same. So option A is correct option. Next question, according to work energy theorem, total energy change in energy is equal to the work done. So obviously the option is A, total work done. Next, the total energy change of a body which covers a vertical height is constituted completely by the potential energy change only when. Option A, it moves slowly. Option B, it moves quickly. Option C, it moves for some time, then rest, then moves again. Option D, it moves with decreasing velocity. Now see, first of all, we'll again read the question. The total energy change of a body which covers a vertical height. It means your object is moving in a vertically upward direction or downward direction. It is a vertical motion. Is constituted completely by the potential energy change only when. Okay, so in this case, if the total energy change of a body which covers a vertical height is constituted completely by the potential energy, in that case your kinetic energy coming out to be zero. So at the final stage the kinetic energy will be going out to be zero, because the total energy of the body has to be constant. So sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy has to be constant, and at the end the kinetic energy it is coming out to be zero. It means the object is moving with a decreasing velocity. So option D is correct in this case. Option D, it moves with a decreasing velocity. Next MCQ, it is the change in total energy of a body moving because of work being done on it is attributed by the change in kinetic energy only when. So the options for this one are given below. It moves extremely slowly, it moves with a very high velocity, it moves with an equipotential surface, and option D, it moves with a positive acceleration. Now here in this case you have to consider one thing, that change in total energy of a body moving because of work done on it is attributed to change in kinetic energy only. So this happens only the case when the object is moving on an equipotential surface, because for an equipotential surface the potential energy of an object remains the same. So whatever the change in potential energy will be there, in that case it will be zero. So hence the work done is attributed to the only change in kinetic energy. So in this case the option C is correct. It moves on an equipotential surface. The question number 22, work is a scalar quantity, vector quantity, foreign quantity, magnitude less quantity. So obviously we know that work done is a scalar quantity. So option A is correct in this case. Next problem, it is that a force of 40 Newton acts on a body of mass 5 kg. So force it is given, mass of the object it is given. What is the amount of work done if the total displacement is 2 meter? We have to calculate the work done when the total displacement is 2 meter and it is in the direction of the applied force. Okay, so we have to calculate the work done. So answers are given in this fashion. So first of all we'll write down the given data. Force it is given, mass it is given, work done we need to calculate, then displacement it is given 2 meter, and the direction of the applied force is same as the direction of the displacement. We know the W is work done is nothing but the force into displacement. So force is 40 Newton and displacement is 2 meters. So your answer it is coming out to be 40 into 20, it is 80 joule. Okay, sometimes it may happen that the direction of the force and the displacement it will be given in opposite direction. In that case your work done it will be come out to be negative. So in this case your correct answer is 80 joule. If they are in opposite direction, in that case your answer will be minus 80 joule. Now next question, the work being a scalar quantity sometimes has negative and positive sign. What does the sign indicates? Just now in the previous MCQ we had seen whenever we are applying a force and displacement, it will be there. If will be in the opposite direction, then it will be work done, it will come out to be negative. Work done, it will come out to be negative. And if they will be in the same direction, then work done will come out to be positive. So work done, it is sometimes coming out to be positive and negative. What does that means? It represents the direction of displacement and the force. So it is a relative displacement and force direction. So in this case, option B is correct. Okay. Next, which of the following is correct? Option A, kinetic energy of the system can be changed without changing momentum. The kinetic energy of a system cannot be changed without changing momentum. Option C, momentum of a system cannot be changed without changing its kinetic energy. And system cannot have energy without having momentum. So in this case, obviously the option B is correct. If you need to change the kinetic energy, you need to change the momentum, because then and only then you will get a change in kinetic energy. So they are interrelated. So option B is correct. You cannot change the kinetic energy without changing the momentum of the system. So option B is the correct option. Next option, dimension of the work R. Dimension of the work R. Option A, M1 L2 T minus 2. Option B, C, D. These are the given options. What we will do, I'll recommend you people that don't remember the dimension of any quantity. Just try to prepare the dimensions. We know that work is nothing but the force into displacement. So we will note down the dimension of the force, which is nothing, which is having a formula mass into acceleration. Force unit is mass is measured in terms of kilogram, acceleration is measured in terms of meter per second square. So we will try to write down the displacement, its unit is meter. Okay, so unit of work, which is nothing but the force into displacement, unit of force is kilogram meter per second square, and unit of displacement, it is meter. So totally the unit of the work is kilogram meter into meter, it will be meter square per second square. So unit of the work is kilogram meter square per second square. Now the dimension, we know that kilogram is a unit of mass, so I'll write down kilo mass raised to 1. Meter is a unit of length, so L raised to 2. And second is a unit of time, I'll write down T raised to minus 2, because second is unit for time and it is coming out to be per second square, it is T raised to minus 2. So in this case, the correct option is option A. In our earlier question, we had seen the work and energy both have the same dimensions. So it may happen that you will be getting a question, dimensions of energy are. So as we have calculated the dimension of the work, you can calculate the dimension of energy by the same formulation. Okay, and it will come out to be the same, which is M1 L2 T minus 2. So the option is A, M1 L2 T minus 2. The next question is, the energy possessed by an object because of its motion is termed as potential energy, kinetic energy, and nuclear energy and solar energy. All of us know that energy possessed by an object because of its motion is nothing but the motion is related to the change in position of the object. So object will have a certain velocity or speed, and the energy by virtue of its motion, that is nothing but the, or virtue of its speed, is nothing but the kinetic energy. So in this case, the correct option is option D. I hope you people have understood all these multiple choice questions. These are very important questions which will be there, you can expect in the university examination. I thank you all for the joining this session, and I request everyone, please share this amongst your friends, colleagues, and the students, those who are giving the online examination in this year for the first year BSc. Okay, I will stop here for the today's session. Thank you for attending this session.